So it's Monday, the 14th of August, 20 to 10. Go this way. So just got back into town yesterday from Florida. Fantastic trip. Did not look at my work email the entire 4 days. Completely separated from work for 4 days. Well, almost completely. We were traveling with my boss, and there was a few times where something came up on his email that he needed to talk about or ask questions about. So it wasn't a complete separation, but about as close as I've been since the cruise in January. 7 months ago. It's too long. It's too long to go without having just a complete separation. And it didn't fail that I got walked in the door, and the first email that I got that I actually saw was a emergency call from a property that they were having trouble with, and within 10 minutes I got a call from the emergency line asking questions about what they should do. So nothing over those 4 days, but got back home, walked in the door, and within 10 minutes was right back into the normal routine. And my perception and perspective was completely different, having been gone for 4 days and just really embracing life, doing things that I've never done before. Dining in new restaurants it was a fantastic experience. Plus I love being at the beach. So got to spend time in an environment that I love. Beach communities are so much more laid back than any place else I've ever been. Hawaii is the most laid back place I have ever experienced. Our visits down to the coast here in Texas, pretty chill. Florida was probably just a little more chill than that. flexibility. I had that ability to do that. I had the ability to impact other people's lives, even for just a fraction of a minute that they may have been motivated or inspired by that simple gesture, and I may have made a difference in somebody's life that was even more than that. It had a greater impact, and I'll never know. And that's the part of the beauty of it, is you have the ability to make an impact on somebody else's life, and you don't get to determine how much that impact is. You just make the simple gesture and hope that it has the effect that you would like it to have, and just go on about your way. So, tipping shuttle drivers and tipping baggage handlers and tipping the service staff. And the one restaurant we went to the Friday night it was great. It was a fantastic restaurant. I loved the food, and Steve ended up picking up the tab on that one. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to tip the kitchen staff. And I went and I flagged the manager down. I'm like, hey, the food was great. Is it all right if I tip the kitchen staff? And he's like, yeah, there's 4 guys back there. I split something up for them. And I gave him $60. It's just like, hey, just give this to whoever's back there. It doesn't have to be the cooks. It could be the dishwashers. It could be food runners. Whoever's there, just here, split this up between everybody that was there. And he actually had a look of shock on his face. Not only one that I was tipping the kitchen staff, but two, what I gave, and because it doesn't happen that often. I don't even know how many years of my nearly 20 in the hospitality industry I spent in kitchens, but I can only remember maybe 2 or 3 times in my entire number of years doing that where somebody sent back gratuity to the kitchen, and it was $2 or $3, maybe $5 at the most. And but it's the gesture. It made an impact every time that happened. I remember them out of all the times that it happened, the handful that it happened or whatever. It made an impact, and I still remember that. And I had the ability to do that, and it made me feel good to know that I was able to do that. And he shook my hand and he said thank you, and it was a fantastic interaction. And again, I left happy. The guys that took us out on parasailing, boom. The guys that set us up with the jet skis, boom. Here, it's a good way to live. If you've got the money to do it, you have the ability to impact other people's lives around you. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's much more of an impact. It has the potential to create a greater impact than anything else. And it's easy to do. And like I said, if you've got the means to do it, you've got the resources, do it. Anyway, so we did a bunch of things that we don't fly very often. Up until my late 20s, I had only flown once when I was very young, and over the last couple of years I've been flying maybe once a year, and to me that's a lot. And there's some people that just never fly. They never get the opportunity to take a vacation, or they think it's too expensive, or they just choose not to. But it's a unique experience. From the takeoff, the flight itself, the perspective, being that far up in the atmosphere and looking down, it is a unique experience. And it's one of those things that you just don't think about as you're driving around. And a lot of people, even if they do fly on a regular basis, maybe don't take the time to appreciate it. It's not, if you do it on a regular basis, it's not much different than getting in a car and driving. You just become accustomed to it. It becomes part of your existence, and it's a regular activity. You don't really appreciate the difference there. But there's a lot of people that don't get to appreciate that, don't get the chance to experience that. And again, I really took the time to understand and appreciate that difference in perception and perspective from taking a flight. And it just reminds me of all the different things that are out there to experience, and just the wonders of the existence that we live in. This reality is amazing, and we just don't take the time to engage in as much as we could. So this simple 4-day trip had a tremendous impact, not only for me and this Safe Vermont concept and just going out and appreciating food and restaurant atmospheres, but we went parasailing for the first time. Absolutely amazing. I can't even explain how peaceful that was. It seems like it's going to be kind of aggressive and shaky and an adrenaline rush, but it kind of is to start with. But once you get up there, it's just like, wow. It wasn't what I was expecting, and it made an impact. Jet skis, we've talked about for years and years and years. Talked about every time we go somewhere, we should rent jet skis. That looks like fun. We should rent jet skis. And it's always been, do we have the time to do it? And more importantly, do we have the money to do it? And if we have the money to do that, are we sacrificing something else? It comes down to choices. And we were in that same boat again. We basically said, we're just going to do it this time. We had already signed up and paid for the parasailing, but we hadn't, that was going to be the next day, and we were like, we should do it today, and we talked about it, and we went to a place, and they were sold out. I'm like, that's it. We'll spend the money on something else, or we'll just save it, or we'll just, but we decided to walk and check another place, and Rhonda went up just to ask if they had some available, and before I know it, we're getting signed up, and it happened really quick, and I was like, I didn't get a chance to think about this. I didn't get a chance to analyze this to the extent that I would normally want to analyze, which usually leads to me not making a decision or taking so long to make a decision that the opportunity passes. It's part of my existence. But a few minutes went by, and I'm in a life vest, and I'm getting seated on this thing, and it was an exhilarating experience as well. Something I've never tried, just getting out there, especially it was really choppy that day, so it was a lot of bouncing and jumping, and it was a little bit scary because I was worried I was going to lose one of us, and but it was good, and I'm glad that we took the time. We took the GoPro out and got video of the parasailing. We got video of the jet skiing, and it was exciting just going back and watching those. So again, just taking the time to embrace life and taking advantage of the opportunities when they arise. Like I said, it was a 4-day trip, not even. We didn't get there till late Thursday, so we had all day Friday, all day Saturday, and just the first part of yesterday. But it had more impact, I think, than any of the trips that we had taken prior, just because of how much we really engaged while we were there. And the whole time, kind of in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about I came here intentionally to get the sign from this property because I need to take a sign to another property, and we don't have any more in the office, and there is not one here. And now I remember that when this one went on, we didn't have any signs then either, so I don't know where I'm going to get a sign. I need to find another property I can go to and steal one. So back on to everyday life. We're trying to get this business open, this restaurant open, and I'm looking forward to it. And having experienced so many different concepts and different menus and food items over the last couple of days, it just really drove that excitement in me to do that. But I was almost feeling drawn, and I don't even want to really even mention it, but I was drawn to just doing a full-blown restaurant. But there's so many factors that go into that, and there's so much more startup to consider. But I'm running that through my mind as another option here down the road, is opening a second level, get up and running, do this Sage Gourmand concept. This small startup that Rhonda and I can do by ourselves, and just see where that goes. But maybe work towards having a larger, full scale, 50 employees, full service restaurant. I really enjoyed them while I was there, and as much as I have really geared my concepts away from those, just because of the logistics of getting one up and running and then maintaining it, I'm feeling kind of drawn to that now. But anyway, right now still focused on small scale, 2 of us, intimate interactions with guests, and I'm fired up. I can't wait. It was a little bit difficult to come back into the office today because I just wanted to drop and go. I wanted to get this going, but I've got a couple weeks more to go, and I reboot on vacation. And as long as I do what I'm supposed to when I'm supposed to and fulfill my obligations, that's 4 weeks worth of pay that I've got coming that will help me in that transition phase. So it's something. It's a choice. I didn't want to come in and look at property management emails today. I didn't want to come in and monitor listings and showings and all that, but I did, and it actually went pretty smooth. And now I'm out and about taking care of the things that I need to take care of, and I'm feeling low stress, but I'm feeling a lack of enthusiasm towards it because of that, and I'm trying to temper that with the benefits that come with doing what I'm doing, and keep my mind on that. So I got that call last night, and I actually was able to apply that to that conversation, because the last thing I want to get is emails about emergencies, the second to the last thing I want to get is emails about emergencies. The last thing I want to get is a phone call about an emergency. And I got the email first, and then I got the phone call next, and I had a choice. I just had a fantastic couple of days, and I did not want to have to deal with, wasn't ready to get back into work mode. I wanted to finish off the rest of my weekend without any interactions or situations that involved property management. I wanted to kind of sit in my fantasy land still for a little bit, and but I did. I took the phone call, I talked to him, and I had a choice. I could be shitty about it, which my initial reaction was, I can't believe you guys are fucking calling me. I'm still on my vacation for another 6 hours. I don't want to deal with this, and I could have got myself all worked up and pissed off and ruined the rest of my night, and probably ruined Rhonda's as well. And but it didn't. I just said, you know what? He's doing a job. They're trying to support themselves, support their family. I don't know what their deal is, but this is what they get paid to do, and this is what they needed to do to fulfill their obligation to their employer so that they could earn their paycheck. And again, I have that choice of giving them a hard time or being an asshole about it, but I didn't. I just said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna try and be happy, on the phone and upbeat, and hopefully that makes a difference in what he has to do, because that's a tough job, having to take those emergency calls, and I did for a while when I first became a property manager. We didn't have that call line. We had to take those calls ourselves, and it sucks. You get people calling you on the weekend that are absolutely pissed off because of one reason or another, and you have to figure out a solution, and you don't want to have to get sucked into their drama. But I can't tell you how many arguments I had with people over the phone because I didn't want to have to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with their bad mood. I didn't want their bad mood bringing my weekend down. I was trying to relax so that I could go back to work on Monday refreshed. And so I had to, again, consciously be aware of what I was saying, how I was saying it, and what was going on. And I could tell when the guy called. He seemed hesitant. He seemed reluctant. He was kind of he was apologetic. He did not want to have to call me on a Sunday night to talk about something that he probably knew that I didn't want to talk about. But you know what? I took the approach. I was open. I was kind of upbeat, and hey, you know what? I understand. This is, you know, the situation. This is what can be done. This is what can't be done. You know, sorry I can't give you more help, but you know, have a great day. And his mood changed from being tentative and reluctant to being appreciative of me just answering the phone and giving him some guidance, and to feeling more upbeat. I could sense it in the way he was talking, and even you can feel over the phone that the tension had gone, and he felt like he could handle the situation better because I had given him the guidance that he needed. And I made that choice. I could have done it the other way. I could have been like, why are you calling me? I don't have time for this. No, you can't do this. Yes, you have to do this, and just do it and don't bother me again. You know, again, it's that choice. And when I got off the phone, I was like, you know what? I feel better having handled that situation the way I did than the alternative, because generally when I get done with that anger doesn't go away once I hang up the phone. Then I'm tense and I'm angry the rest of the night, and that carries over into my household. My wife has to deal with that. The kids have to deal with that. The dog has to deal with it. I mean, everybody is feeling that. And I felt better about it, and I felt good, and I was able to enjoy the rest of my night. I sat and watched Smokey and the Bandit and laughed my ass off. I haven't watched it in years, and it's not something that I was intending on doing. It just happened to be on. I was like, I'm just going to watch this, and I had a good night. I had some drinks, we had some tacos, we had just a chill, relaxing night, and it was all because of the choices that I made prior to that, and then choosing to enjoy those moments. So I've got things I need to do, and that is pretty much the update. I am going to be calling the listing agent for this property that we are currently interested in. After seeing some of the places that we saw, I was hesitant. I don't know. I got more excited about more of an upscale or more of a place with more punch than what I'm considering here. But now that we're back in town and I'm feeling, that my life kind of coming back together to a more realistic expectation, I like that spot, and I like what it can do, and I'm feeling just as excited now as I was about it before we left to go on our little trip. And I'm looking forward to calling and seeing what we can work out, see if we can't get something going that's going to be mutually beneficial for all parties. So that's the next step. See what we can do with this space, and keep on creating.